This is your daily market review for Thursday, January 16th, 2025. Let's go. Hey everyone, this is my channel to help investors and traders develop a probability-based mindset to succeed. Also try and keep friends informed of what's going on in the markets and the economy, and also a little real estate content as well. This is Dan Max at ADBE Realty, aka the Trading Agent, your daily market review for Thursday, January 16th, 2024. As we go into the close, not surprised we're getting some of that chop. Talked about the pop, chop, and then maybe the flop. Again, if you're new to the channel and you're not a part of the Discord room, I would highly check it out. But we've talked about this a lot, that the options expiration typically is one direction one part of the week, and then another direction another part of the week. Again, if their goal is to kill the most amount of options, doesn't make sense. You need to do what? Move in both directions at a decent amount potentially. Now again, probability-based game, nothing certain, but that's the idea. And we talked about in the Discord room. I'm not surprised if we got pullbacks at some point during the day, and then Friday could be very interesting. You got housing starts, building permits, industrial production, capacity utilization. Again, long story short, we have more economic data after we got the pop and OPEX game. So what do you expect moving forward? That's why you watch the video. Stick around, check out all the insights, information, levels, and maybe you'll enjoy some of the comedy. I'm getting a lot of good feedback about comedy. I'll try to make it more funny. I'll even start speaking in different tones and different voices because I think people appreciate it. Again, this should be educational yet fun. So let me know how I can help. If you're looking to buy, sell, invest in real estate, need help trading, learning how to trade, have questions about the market, click on the Calendly link. It's in the description below. Let me know how I can help. Also follow, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell on Twitter, YouTube. Again, it's X now, but posting tons of trades, ideas, thoughts. Again, they're all here. Again, if you have questions, don't hesitate to reach out. This is where it gets really interesting. Builders are sitting on more inventory than they have in forever. Again, if you're looking to invest in real estate, buy real estate, sell, invest anywhere in the country, I have a huge national referral network. If you don't hit me up, I will be disappointed, highly disappointed. Because I'd love to put you in touch with somebody that can help you out and you get two agents for the price of one, because I will be involved in the transaction. Again, education videos all on the YouTube. Hit the notification bell. When this pops off, it's usually popping off around 3 p.m. Mountain Standard, 5 p.m. Eastern. Try to record as the market's closing. Also, if you want to hit the thanks button, I think you can do a minimum of $2. That's cool. Again, I appreciate it. Tip the door, man. Trying to give great trades and ideas. Again, check out the website, tradingagent.com. Lots of resources about daily reviews, real estate stuff. Again, posting endlessly on the blogs and whatnot. All sorts of fun information. Again, if you're new to the channel and you're not involved, what are you doing? Why not? Por qué no? Right? Por qué no? That's what I love. That's the easiest question to ever ask somebody. Again, got another video. It should sync up here shortly. So anyway, let's continue on. Fed Fund Futures, not my LinkedIn. What do we know? We know there's nothing coming next, 2 weeks from now? This is at 2.7%. That's basically nothing, right? Keep in mind, keep an eye on that. Know what's going on with the feds. Don't expect anything. Bitcoin, is that a trend line we're coming into? Keep an eye on that. I'm starting to get a little concerned that we could break out or we could fail. Right? That's what I'd be watching. Again, I'm not saying I know for sure what's going to happen here, but again, this is why you watch this stuff. Now, don't bring a ruler to trading because sometimes you get traps, you get wicks. Definitely worth a change, worth the watch. Okay? Let me know I can help. Don't hesitate. Again, the Bitcoin folks are very hodl. They're always bullish, which again, I understand, but be careful. Oil, as we talked about, gets into the resistance. Look what's happening. Looks like you have railroad tracks, right? Up and then down. Keep an eye on that because, again, it might be time for a pullback. And last but not least, your good old friend. Come on, natural gas. Why aren't you popping up? There we go. Looking strong. Again, I may have missed the boat on this one. But again, I think there's more upside long term. But I'd love to see it on a pullback. Just curious if this video updated. Doing some updates on the website. Trying to do it live. Oops, didn't work. All right. So what do we know moving forward, right? Let's get into the dollar because I think the dollar is a good place to start as we talk about. Sorry, a little distracted. We've talked about this like near term. Right? What are you going to do? Keep an eye on it. Again, I don't trade the dollar. And if you take out the XDIV, you can see like this thing is just ripping and ripping and ripping and ripping and ripping. It looks like it could be due for a pullback. Now, again, the dollar has been on fire. Will everything start flopping? If that's the case, like that's the question I'd be asking yourself, right? Like if you were
sitting here and you don't even really trade the dollar, that's the question I'd be asking yourself. Because if the dollar starts weakening here and everything starts melting and bonds get bought, you might see the commodity train rip. And if the commodity train starts a ripping, you know what we have to do, right? You might have to be, again, dump. Tech is the easy short. That's the obvious one, right? What else? Well, again, we've talked about these dynamics. Tech should be dumped. Money should rotate into the bonds. Money probably rotates into materials. And again, that puts the feds in a fucking huge pickle. Excuse my language. Okay? Be careful. Watching the dollar. Bonds, we talked about, started to catch a bid, the 85 level. You had to have big balls to buy 85, right? If the gap fill, support, resistance going into the CPI and PPI data, big balls. Don't take a risk, but this is what we said, watch the 8 and 10 day. You've hit it now twice, and it looks like it's holding. Take the risk out if you can. VIX, we talked about the 16 level, 200 day. Look at today's action, right? Little baby doji. We talked about the VIX typically bottoms first. Making a higher low, that's what I would be watching for. SPY, again, today wasn't necessarily like, oh my God, it's the end of the world. But what did I say yesterday? I'd be looking for more of like an indecisive candle. This is the trap I didn't see coming, but I was thinking more of like this. Like you pop up and then you get like a tight action candle. We got it today. Because again, if you count the gap, this is a big green candle, right? If you closed here, think about it, that body would be huge. Keep it on it. QQQ, again, starting to weaken. Apple, hello. 20 day, hello. Again, everything we're saying. People out of tech and moving into other sectors. Tech looks the worst. Keep an eye on it. IWM seems to be holding up pretty well at resistance. Keep an eye on the 100 day. DIA high, DIA low. Again, we've come up into this, I don't know, old back test of a trend line. Keep an eye on it. Again, I don't really watch the DIA as much for just confirmation. Okay, gold. Man, some earnings are popping after hours. We'll see who it is in a second. We talked about commodities. Could we be missing the bull move? Potentially. Near term. Again, I've said this. I think 3,000 handles coming. It's just, again, do you want to short tech or buy commodities? I think the safer bet is always to short tech when money rotates out of something. Now, again, not saying that gold and silver won't do well near term, but again, I just struggle with, because again, if the dollar starts dumping, bonds start catching a bid, and everything gets melted down because it's a liquidity game, right? Throw the baby out with the bathwater kind of thing. What you could see could get ugly. And when I say could, meaning is like, again, you might not see everything just flow right in. And when I say flow right in, like, is it going to go right into tech? Sorry, into the commodities? Right? Like you could see, again, names that are part of the, again, we talk about this, things that are part of the market don't necessarily always fly when the market's getting pounded, right? Because they're part of index, they're part of ETFs, part of mutual funds, they're part of hedge funds, they're part of people who have to sell, create redemptions, do things like that. GDX, again, you would think this stuff would be flying today. It's at resistance, worth an eye, could start flying, but trust it? No. Again, as someone's been traded the miners for a long time, stuff can get sketchy. AEM, chopping around. AG, chopping around. Again, a lot of the stuff you would think would be higher. We'll see. Newmont, this one's caught a bid. We talked about this low being important. You zoom out, and you can see this 37 area. And again, gold was, this thing was at 58 months ago. So I would be watching this as kind of a tell. Like if you really want miners to hold, you need to see Newmont hold. Pass, same kind of sector, just chop. Let's get into maybe what was one of the easiest trades of the day. Talked about this in the daily market review yesterday. If Taiwan Seni gaps up and double tops, you short the shit out of it. Did anyone do that? Leave a comment below. Again, if you want to tip the dealer, you're welcome. Look at this. Big gap up, big volume. Oh, man, people keep saying this is undervalued. I'm like, holy shit, what planet are people on? And then I'm like, oh, they wonder if they're just paid pumpers or scammers. Again, personally, I think semis have the easiest, biggest downside risk coming into this next cycle. People are like, why? It's like Cisco and the routers didn't go anywhere. It was just everybody copied Cisco, and everyone made great routers at some point. There was no, again, leverage. There's no ability to raise prices. Remember, technology is deflationary. It goes in weird cycles. Micron, just watching. Again, it makes sense to watch that trend line. AMD, this thing has gone nowhere fast. Off the lows, scary. NVIDIA, my trade, short of 2025. Look at what today, gaps up, closes at the lows. Again, you've got the double topper. Now what? SMCI. I don't trust this one. Again, they cooked the books. Their auditor quit, and now they're saying everything's good. I'd watch it again. I think they do make good products, but we'll see. Intel, keep an eye on this one again. We talked about there was a trade here for a potential double bottom. A double bottom. Again, I think this is dead money until it breaks. I mean, you got to get over the 20-day to get the 50. This thing is just. If you bought the lows, cool. If you're not and you're just holding on to it forever, hoping it turns into the next NVIDIA, you are higher than a fucking kite. Excuse my language. Be careful. Again, there's a trade there, but I don't know if it's an investment. SMH, look at this. Gaps up, closes at the lows. If you bought the Soxis around 19, you're feeling pretty good about your purchase today. Adobe. This one's a nice little rally during OPEX. Again, this thing's been beaten. I wonder how many people had puts on this thing or it sold calls that are just going, oh, what do we do now? The fruit. What did we say? What have we been saying over and over and over? If the bounces are weak, be careful. Goo. Ha. Ooh. We talked about you were going to bounce here, but that is not a strong bounce. Then look at today's action, just engulfs it with volume. Apple, we said the fruit looks spoiled. You're welcome. Congrats. I mean, JSOLs has called the top on that one. Like, pretty much nailed it. Amazon, we talked about tech's tough to trust, 20-day. Again, I just would dance. I'd be watching the tech pool, but not really picking in them. I like shorted Meta. I like that idea. Talked about it bouncing the 50-day. Now you can look for reentries or continuation trades. CRM, we talked about this thing having nothing. Guggenheim, they have the quantum chips. Why do we not fail, huh? Or why do we not break out? I mean, again, throw a baby with bathwater. We'll see. I mean, it's holding up pretty well, but keep an eye on it. Mr. Softy, meow. Right now, chopping around. NDAQ again. Don't be surprised we get some oversold names bouncing here. We chopped for a while. Talk about the 100-day, man. If you see the 50-day, you know what to do. MicroStrategy, again, everybody's bullish. Everyone's bearish every other minute. This one's tough. Bitcoin peaked. This peaked. You need Bitcoin to break that downtrend, in my opinion, to get up into the 440s. We'll see if we even break out to new highs. I mean, this thing was pushing some pretty high premium for near term, at least for Bitcoin. Netflix and Spill, we've talked about this rounded top. Look at today's action. Gaps up, retest the gap, gives it back. Again, it is OPEX, CHOPEX. So don't get too crazy, but it's, again, things should be chopping. Some names not. Look at Roblox. We talked about this thing's been just leading up. I mean, no short on that one. PNW, again, we talked about the 200-day bounce. Oversold. You go from what? 208 down to $170. There you go. Right. I like these names long term. I can't trust them now. Tesla, again, we talked about the J curve, straight line move action that just leads to what? Potential pain. Yeah, I said the 20-day. Watch the, 420s fill in the gap. Man, if the gap doesn't fill, that looks even bearish. Because again, everyone should be waiting for the gap to fill, and people can't wait to sell. Somebody knows something. I'm looking at this going, oh shit. Because if it isn't, right, like you kind of have a little bit of a trend line here. Dangerous. Very dangerous. When I say dangerous, and I mean just for bulls, because you could do another, you could do a 70, 80 point drop in a couple weeks. 420, take you back down to like 330s, maybe the 100 days here. Just trying to look out for the bulls. Again, I appreciate all love, support, destinations, but I'm not always bearish or bullish or bearish. Insight, again, I think there's a takeout target. Just let it play out. Palantir, this one we talked about, overbought by every metric possible. It's due to pull back and chop. Again, it looks like you're getting these really shitty bounces. And I mean, just baby candles. It's like reluctance. It like gaps up with the market, and then all day it's just nothing. Market looks weak, I'm telling you. Behind the scenes, McDonald's, here you go, making new lows, 200-day, yikes. DraftKings, said yesterday, bulls were getting real excited at the open. Any bounce, you got it. Watch the 50-day again. I think this thing's going way lower. Airbnb, and I mean way lower, like the 20s. This one is a choppy, sloppy mess. I don't have much on that one. Costco, we talked about the 1,000 level being the top. Now you're holding the 100-day. Keep an eye on it. Starbucks, chopping. I mean, this again, ever since the Chipotle takeover, the Chipotle CEO coming in, bringing the burritos to the coffee shop. Hey-oh, no, we'll see. I mean, I don't think that's going to go anywhere. FedEx, we talked about this one, right? You like the short. I like the short on bounces, and then it holds support. if again, you would think FedEx would be ripping if the market's really strong. Caterpillar, this one has an oversold bounce. So keep an eye on it. 50-day, chopping around. We'll see. We'll see. DE, I mean, this one is oversold bounce, right? We talked about it. Like, I like material names. Look at that backside. It's a trend line. Some names look better than other. Nucor, keep an eye on it, right? Look at this guy. I mean, you got to love commodity names at these prices, but long term, absolutely long term, but near term, they're tough. Again, I love this stuff. We talk about it again. When money rotates out of tech, you're going to see commodity companies act like tech companies. People think tech companies are only trade a certain way. It's like, no, it's market dynamics. Like, there's a lot of stocks that rotation into that will trade like that. X will get bought out. It's just a matter of when. It's just what price do you want to start really reloading and trade around in. X, Vale, look at this. Somebody was buying and selling today, but man, that is a huge turnover in volume. I was looking at it going, man, I think I need to put a freaking arrow on that one. Right? Somebody knows something. Now, again, there's probably some news, but either way, how many shares is that? That's 141 million shares turning over today. Look at the last time we had volume like that. Yeah. Yeah, what do you think here? Leave a comment below if you think it's a bottom in Valley. I'm curious. Arrow. Again, we like junior copper. Let it play out. CCJ, again, you got to love uranium, but prices are at some lows. Again, I'd love to see these things get freaking beaten, and then you can jump all the fuck over them. CF, again, J Solstice posting the option trades, big time. Call buyers in this. Coming in. Keep an eye on it. Mosaic, a little, not so much. Chopping around the lows, but again, we like ag. We like ag too, right? AA Aeron, we like aluminum for the long run. Right, they're big chop zones. Look for them to base out more at some point if the market pulls back. XLF, look at today's like action. Right? We talked about the multi-day potential pop with earnings. I mean, you never know. But you get this gap up, right? And here we are. Keep an eye, because again, JP Morgan, I mean, I like the short on this a lot. We're saying, like, watch the trend line, but here you go. And that's where it gets a little funky. Doji. Talk about double top or the trend line. What did you get? A doji today? I'd be looking for, again, I've got long-term puts. I'm not really too, again, when I buy some and I hold through earnings, I have in my mind they can go to zero, but I'm buying long-term. So I'm not sitting here going, oh, I'm going to buy it for a minute. Right? I got some Junies. Right? It's a long time from now. So defined risk now, but looking to like press for a legitimate top point. Morgan Stanley coming in the range highs. Bank of America's earnings, they came in, right? Double top or 2-day range. I'm sorry. Watch that. I think that looks pretty damn good. Goldman Sachs. Again, is it breaking out or a double top? I'm not, again, these big gaps at highs usually lead to chop and flop, especially after big moves, right? Like this isn't like some stock that ran from 280 up to 380. No, this is 287 up to 6 something. For this big guy, we'll see. Again, define your risk. It's easy. It doesn't have to be rocket science. Carry, right? Keep an eye out. This is so like sneaky. 200 and like 50-day bounce. There you go. Right? Keep it simple, stupid. Right? Keep an eye on it. XBI, again, we talk about like junior bios should be ripping. Keep an eye on it. Jets seems to be chopping. Again, I know people want to short this. It makes sense. I don't think airlines are going to be doing so hunky-dory. Keep an eye on it. XHB, housing got the bounces. Again, we talked about the oversold conditions. Look at these gaps. Then you hit the 200-day. Rates go lower today, and housing doesn't make new highs. I'd be watching that 200-day for shizzle. Keep an eye on it. Again, always here to help. Ask questions. Do not hesitate to reach out. Let's get through solar and then oil and gas names last. Nah, man, they just don't look like nothing. I don't know. I don't know what to say. Sedge. These names could get absolutely toasted. I mean, I think ENPH has a ton of downside. First Solar. Yeah, this one seems to be doing better. Again, people looking at the go, whoa, $60 stock versus $190. It's like, no, look at the market cap. Look at the valuations, folks. Don't look at the dollar price. Keep an eye on it. HYG, again, you got to be out of your mind to buy corporate debt. Like, how high do you want to be? In my opinion. Oil, talked about the railroad tracks hitting resistance. You can see it better on the oil futures. UNG, nice bounce. Again, I hate this product. I think got down to the 28s on the KOLD. Yeah, JB Hunt after hour miss big. What is it? Revenue fill? What? I'm just reading someone sent it. My man Bamf. What did he say? Forkle River down 5%. Yeah, diluted quarters revenues down 6%. Multi down. Full year operating income down 16. Yeah, those are big misses. Because again, remember, a lot of these companies under promise. They don't over promise. KLD, again, we talked about it. I mean, I'd be taking profits here, but if it goes lower, you're going to be pissed off at me. But it's like, man, you go to 80 to 30 and you don't take any profits. It's like, screw you, man. I think it's a good trade long term, but yeah, near term, don't be surprised. Said XOP watch 2-day range seems to be holding up at the highs. Again, this has got to be killing the Fed. CVE, I like this name, but the junior names aren't leading. That tells you something. Look at the oil. We talked about the gasoline names have been rallying. If they get stuck here, you should be getting a little nervous about oil and gas near term. ExxonMobil, this thing should be flying, right? Okay, we'll see. Keep an eye on it. BP, are you with me? We talk about long term. This is a great trade. I think downside risk is minimized, but just like same things like Oxy, like you've got the bottom. It's just, do we fly or do we pull back at some point, right? Because the first bottom will typically find sellers, right? Unless something crazy happens. EQT, this one's been on fire. Again, identified by some of the homies in the Discord room. Again, I said I like this long term. Big chop zone, right? Does that, I mean, you go from 18 up to 50 to 30 points. On top of that, taking the 80s pretty damn quickly if it goes. Flex LNG, last but not least, I think will be natural gas exporters. So, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Always here to help. Love you guys. Appreciate love, support, generous donations. If you want to leave a comment below, heart, just get involved. I appreciate it. It helps the algorithm find people like yourself. Get paid. Sorry, get paid? Yeah, learn how to trade, duh. Anyway, here to help. Appreciate you guys. Peace.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, stop by the Discord room. A link is in the description below. Also, if you'd like to help support more free content, the PayPal link is in the description as well. I appreciate your continued support of the channel.